I trusted my sister with everything. And one day, I found out she had been living my life, using my name, my money, my identity. But what she didn't know was I was about to take it all back. It started with something small, a declined card. I remember standing at the checkout, the cashier giving me that awkward look people give when something is wrong but they don't want to say it. "Ma'am, it didn't go through." I forced a smile. "That's strange. Try again." She did. Same result. Declined. I felt embarrassed more than worried. At that moment, it didn't feel serious, just inconvenient. But inconvenience turned into fear the moment I checked my account. My balance was almost zero. I stared at the screen, refreshing it again and again like it would magically fix itself. It didn't. Thousands of dollars were gone. My chest tightened. My hands started shaking. I called the bank immediately. "Ma'am, these transactions were authorized," the representative said calmly. "Authorized? I didn't make these," I said, my voice barely steady. There was a pause. Then she said something that made my entire body go cold. "The activity matches your identity verification." My identity. That's when I realized this wasn't a glitch. This was theft. The next few days were a blur of panic. Calls, emails, reports. Nothing made sense. Until the letter arrived. A loan. A massive one. Approved under my name. Signed. Processed. Completed. Without me. I sat there, holding that letter, feeling like my life was slipping out of my control. Because if I didn't do this, then someone else did. And there was only one person who had access to everything. My sister, Lena. She had been staying with me for months. Said she needed help. Said she was struggling. I didn't hesitate. I gave her everything. A place to stay, access to my home, my laptop, my trust. Because she was family. Because she was my sister. But now, everything felt wrong. I drove to her apartment that same night. When she opened the door, she smiled like nothing had happened. "Hey," she said casually. I didn't smile back. "Did you use my information?" I asked directly. She blinked, then laughed. "You're being paranoid." But her eyes, they weren't laughing. "I'm serious. My money is gone. There are loans in my name." Her expression changed for just a second, a tiny crack. Then it disappeared. "I don't know what you're talking about." And in that moment, I understood something terrifying. She wasn't just lying. She was confident. Too confident. Like she knew I couldn't prove anything. I walked away that night without another word. But inside, something had changed. Because my sister didn't just steal my money. She stole my identity. And I had no idea how far she had gone.
And I had no idea how far she had gone.
I thought the worst part was losing my money. I was wrong. The worst part was realizing I had already lost control of my life. The next morning, I went straight to the bank, sat across from someone who looked at me like I was the problem. "Everything checks out," he said. "How?" I asked. "I didn't do any of this." He turned the screen toward me. There it was. My name. My ID. My signature. Everything looked real. Perfect. Too perfect. "Whoever did this," he said, "had full access to your identity." I didn't say anything, because I already knew. Lena. But knowing wasn't enough. I needed proof. So I did something I had never done before. I followed her. It felt wrong, but not as wrong as what she had done. That's when I saw it.
She wasn't struggling, she was living better than me. Designer clothes, expensive dinners, luxury apartment. My money, my identity, my life. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part came when I heard her introduce herself. "Hi, I'm Ava. My name." I froze. Everything inside me shattered. She wasn't just stealing from me, she had become me. The next few days, I gathered everything: screenshots, records, proof. I contacted a lawyer, filed a fraud case, and that's when things got worse, because suddenly, I wasn't the victim anymore. I was the suspect. Until this is resolved, your accounts will remain frozen. Frozen. I couldn't access my money, my cards, my life. I sat in my apartment, surrounded by silence, realizing something terrifying. She hadn't just stolen from me, she had replaced me. But she made one mistake. She underestimated me, and I was done being quiet.
She thought she could live my life forever. She thought I would break, disappear, stay silent. She was wrong. I had everything I needed now: proof, records, truth. The court date came faster than I expected. She walked in confident, dressed perfectly, smiling like she had already won, like she was still me. But this time, I was ready. When the evidence was presented, everything changed. Bank records, camera footage, signatures, location data. Piece by piece, her lies fell apart. Her smile faded, her confidence cracked, and for the first time, she looked scared. "She used my identity," I said calmly, "and she thought I wouldn't fight back." The room went silent, because the truth was undeniable. By the end of the hearing, it was over. Her accounts were frozen, charges were filed, and my identity was finally mine again. But the real moment came outside. She stood there, looking at me. "You ruined my life," she said. I didn't react. "No," I said quietly. "You ruined your own." And I walked away. For the first time in months, I felt free, because I didn't just get my life back, I got myself back. And this time, I would never let anyone take that from me again.